Welcome to Season 6 of the Coach Pony Podcast. We are here to help you get paid to coach, and sometimes to find clients you just need your questions answered. In this very cheesy 80s-themed season of the podcast, join me, Christie Mims, a career and business coach, and Bobbi Palmer, a dating coach, as we answer your burning questions about your coaching business, so you get more paying clients. Because after building 6- and 7-figure businesses of our own, we've learned a few things. So with that, let's get down to business. Welcome to the Coach Pony Radio Hour. We are here to tackle your burning coaching questions about your coaching business. I see the phone line is lighting up, so let's go to our first caller. Caller, talk to us. You're on the air.
Hey, Coach Pony, this is Derek calling in again from Blockbuster Video. I'm trying to run a cool Betamax for the weekend. Do you have any suggestions? Anyway, I'm a long-time listener and a third-time caller. I recently set a goal in my business to make $14,000 next month. I've got an existing client list. Any ideas for me on how to do it?
This is a great question. I love this question. Let's go to hot takes. Bobbi, what is your hot take on how they should do it?
VIP days.
I love it. My hot take is VIP days too. We're in agreement, as well as potentially maybe something else, a continuation day. But since we said VIP days off the top, let me just, for the purposes of all of our listeners, welcome. Let me just explain what we mean by that. So a VIP day, very important person day, is usually a half day or a full day intensive. It's most often in person, though it can be virtual, but doing it in person means you can rent a nice hotel room or a beautiful Pure Space conference room and kind of really create a luxury vibe. And it's an intensive, meaning you get to do deep work with your clients and maybe something cool or special. So in addition to really getting into some coaching, you might be able to do some assessments or something like a photo shoot or some other cool or interesting work. Maybe you can even go to their house if you're in organizational coaching or anything like that. All sorts of good stuff can come from a VIP day. And they're very benefits focused. So it's really clear when the person walks in the room what they're getting. It's not just, you'll set the agenda and we'll figure it out. It's, we're going to deep dive and have this intensive on X topic. Maybe we're going to do your yearly planning for your business. Maybe we're going to do a pantry reorganization and get you ready to get a healthier life. Maybe we're going to make over your online profile and get you ready to date. Whatever it might be, there's usually something really focused about the VIP day, which adds to its value. And so that's just a brief overview. And because it's a little bit more intensive and it's a little bit very important, you usually charge quite a bit more than you would for a regular coaching session. And there might be other bells and whistles. So Bobbi, what do you want to add to that description in terms of VIP day? Anything?
I don't know if I want to add, but I want to accentuate the idea that it's very results oriented. And this is what creates so much value, is that you go in saying, here is exactly what we're going to accomplish. And they can leave feeling that you have delivered and you have actually given them the value that they paid for. And I love that idea, as opposed to just some kind of like, let's talk for 2 hours, right? Yeah. Kind of thing. Or let me answer your questions. It's really, really productive. And it makes it so that you come out of there way ahead of where you could have been if you never had that time with the expert.
Yeah, I love that. It's an accelerant. It's an accelerant.
Yes, good one.
That really gets people to their desired results more quickly. It may not get someone all the way to their bigger goal, but it's definitely going to get them somewhere they want to be in that time, because you actually can, really get together and get your hands on them and do some really cool stuff, especially if you're in person. You also can do little bells and whistles. You can provide a lunch or a wine tasting, or give them books, or provide something cool or special gifts or some sort of experience that might really deepen the coaching, a special meditation. I don't know. There's so much creativity that goes into VIP days, which is really, really awesome. Yeah. The elephant in the room, I'm sure a caller is wondering, is how much can you charge for VIP day? He said he's looking to make $14,000 a month. Is this possible? So Bobbi, let's talk about VIP day pricing. What are your first thoughts?
I can't give a number, right? Because I think a lot depends on the industry. It depends on what you're offering. It could be a half day. It could be a full day. You talk about the bells and whistles. So I don't think there's a number, but when you think about what you would charge for private coaching and you think about extrapolating that to your half day, full day, what you're going to invest in terms of, if you're going to offer some kind of meal, or you're going to give them pre-work, or you're going to give them extras like you talked about, that may incur some kind of cost. So you have to include that into what your pricing might be. What else do you think, Christie, should you consider?
It's important to start with what you're charging right now for your current offerings. If you're doing VIP days, it's likely that you're coaching one-on-one, or you're doing sort of high-touch group coaching, probably. So take a look at what you're charging your one-on-one clients. For instance, a VIP day, because it's in person and it's this really focused, accelerated time with you aimed at offering tremendous value, is going to be a little bit pricier than what you're probably going to charge on average. Again, there's going to be some prep work. You're going to be doing a little bit extra. You're going to be spending all of this dedicated time with them, and that's worth something. And they're going to be getting faster and better results potentially. So, I don't want to name a price either, but I will, because that's why we're here. Obviously a full day VIP is going to be more expensive than a half day. You can do a 3-hour, a 4-hour, a 6-hour, or an 8-hour or something. I would not recommend doing 8 hours. That's a little too long. You'll both be exhausted. I think a sweet spot for a VIP day is probably somewhere between 3 and 5 hours, and you'll definitely need a break. It's really hard work when you are the coach, and it's really hard work when you're the client. So I'm thinking no matter where you are in coaching, we're talking thousands, right? Because again, this is an accelerant. So, a half day VIP day, might be $1,500. It might be $2,000, $3,000, depending on what your prices are. It could be $5,000. A full day could be $4,000 or $5,000 to start if you do something a little bit longer. I encourage you to be a little bit scared with your pricing on the VIP day, but also be really, really clear on the benefit that you're offering and think through the exercises that you're going to do, the extras you're going to be able to do, the type of coaching you're going to be able to provide, and that whole experience that you're giving to them, and factor all of that in. And Bobbi alluded to the fact that there might also be sunk costs. The very first VIP day I did as a coach was in the Willard Hotel in Washington, D.C., and I rented a suite.
Fancy.
And I also offered food and wine as part of the whole experience. So I had a sunk cost of close to I don't know, it wasn't $1,000, but it might have been close between all of the stuff that I did. So I had to make sure my VIP day paid for that, and also for my time and my prep and all the planning that I did for the client. So just throw that out there, that you got to think through all the costs before you set a price, and think through the type of experience that you're offering. You do not have to rent a suite for your clients by any means. But you do, if it's in person, want to really think through the type of space, whether it's in your house, their house, or potentially in a luxury location, a nice hotel space, or a cool conference room or something. Anything else to add to that, Bobbi?
Well, there's also follow-up. That's also time to consider, because a lot of times, if you are results-oriented, you've got objectives at the beginning, and there's a lot of value in either at the end of the session, or sometimes I would follow up after the session, just validating what we accomplished and that we did meet the stated goals of that day together. Sometimes VIP might include a half-hour follow-up or whatever. So it may be time after the actual meeting. You want to kind of get creative, right? You want to consider all of your time, because what happens is those hours start adding up, and then you start getting afraid of charging for them. Right,
Yeah.
Christie? It's oh my gosh, I think I need to charge $3,000 for a half day. If you're putting in a lot of time and you have expenses and you've got your expertise that you're focusing just on them, there's an incredible value in that.
And these work really well for existing clients or people who are in your community, even if they haven't been a paying client, because they already know you. And existing clients in particular know you. So they already value the coaching. And if you're like, man, we can take this to the next level and accomplish this goal much more quickly, or help you make more progress more quickly, that to them will probably sound really, really compelling and interesting. And that's one reason why we're pushing this VIP day. Because, if you already have a few clients and you can offer them something like this, which is a little bit different, but a little bit more, a lot of them are going to be excited to be like, oh yeah, instead of stretching out coaching over 10 weeks or 3 or 4 months, perhaps they could make a big step forward in just, an afternoon or a day. And that's really, really, really powerful and attractive for our clients.
That's a really good point. You're not marketing these to cold clients. You're selling this to your existing list for the very reason that you just said, Christie. That's a really good point.
So $14,000, you can do 5 VIP days for $3,000 and you would make $15,000. You could do 3 VIP days for $5,000 and you'd make $15,000. So there's, a few different ways that just off the top of my head, you can slice this and get to that number. So Bobbi has gotten VIP days and you've also given VIP days. So tell me a little bit about what got you to sign up as a client for your first VIP day.
My first VIP day, 14 years ago, maybe, a long time ago. I was a brand new coach and I was looking at other coaches and seeing what they were doing and thinking, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. So I had one private client by then that I had attracted through my blog. And I was trying, obviously, to increase my business. And I found somebody who was also a dating coach who had a much larger clientele. But what she had that I didn't have was a process that she could offer to people. Like, here are the steps you have to take to get to where you want to be, which is find a loving, lifelong partner. She was where I wanted to be. And I hired her to give me, I think it was a half day, it was a long time ago, a VIP day. And the goal of that day was to put in place my steps. It was a freaking brilliant, man. I mean, in like 4 hours, she guided me through coming up with 7 steps to finding love after 40. And I've used that the whole time in my business. I mean, it's been the basis of my business going forward. So the investment was well worth it, but it was a very good experience. I've also had another experience that maybe wasn't so good, that the coach didn't stay on track the way we needed to, and we didn't focus on the objective. That was really, really disappointing because I wanted to leave that day accomplishing XYZ. Both of those, good to know, like what the difference is.
One of the things that I want to just underscore is you signed up for that first VIP day because you had a real problem in your business. Yep. You wanted it solved and you wanted it solved quickly. And so it became super valuable to you to have that solved.
I had to have it in order to move forward.
Yeah. And you knew it. And then coach came in and said, okay, we can sit down and do this. And instead of stretching it out over a few weeks, we can do it in one day. And that was really, really powerful. That's awesome. And that's a good reminder too, when you do a VIP day and you are promising specific exercises or results, good to recap at the end and watch your time and make sure you get there because people are paying you for it. So tell me now, you've done VIP days with your clients. And so I've done them as well, but I really liked how you structured yours. So can you share a little bit about what your VIP days were and sort of how they came about and also what you charged?
One of my favorite things I've ever done in my business, and remember, datelikeagrownup.com.
Yes, datelikeagrownup.com. Awesome. Go there, everyone. Datelikeagrownup.com.
So I work with women over 40, and a lot of my women, they're not, at this age, they don't meet men, and going online is the best way to meet men, but it's very, very scary. And it's also can be very technical. If you don't have guidance, you can really fail. I mean, it could be like really crappy. I did it for years, I know. So my VIP days, it was actually a weekend. It was 2 days. Day one, they worked with a stylist who went shopping with them. It was a colleague of mine. She would take them shopping and buy some new wardrobe for their new dating life, because they were going to be starting dating very soon. Because the next day, first thing I did was have a photographer come. And we did this in a really sort of glorious home. So it was very private. This is very personal work. And so having it in a space that is really private was important. And in the next day, day 2, we had a photographer come in. They put on their new clothes. We had them take some fabulous photos from their new profile. That was the first couple hours. And then the rest of the day was me sitting down with them. I had already written them a profile. and getting them online and teaching them how to use online dating like a grown-up, as I say. So by the end of the day, they were online. They already had men that had emailed them and had wanted to talk to them. And I could coach them through beginning to end of the process of how to really use online dating as the amazingly powerful tool that it is and not be afraid of it. And they were gorgeous and they had those beautiful pictures. It was great. We served them lunch, of course. Oh, and we had somebody come in and do their hair and their makeup for everybody. It was just a joy. And it was great for business. The last time I did it was probably 6 years ago. So it was a while ago. And we charged between myself and the stylist, but everything was packaged with me. I charged it was almost $7,000 for the 2 days.
Yeah.
For the 2 days.
But that was a lot. It was the space. It was a stylist.
The hairdresser, the makeup artist, the photographer. So I had some pretty high, costs involved. We did this about 8 times, I think. We did this over 8 weekends, and 6 of them are married now.
That's amazing. One quick other question.
Yeah.
How did you sell them? Did you just let your email list and community know? So you sold them again to your existing community?
I did. And even more than that, I sold them to women who were interested in private coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So I even sort of got a little narrower. I did market to my whole list, but I specifically, on a very personal level, recommended it to women who were already doing some private coaching with me.
So you made a really personal sales read.
And it sped everything up for them, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And also, when you're doing just private coaching with them every week, there's no way they're going to get hair and makeup and any part of that. So the VIP day allows for this creativity to give your clients something extra to potentially partner with someone or hire someone for an hour or two to come in and do something a little extra, maybe a photo shoot for a resume or a CV if you're a career coach. You could do a little cooking demonstration with someone if you're a health coach. There's so many cool things you can do, which is one of the reasons why I love these days. We have a full training on VIP days in the Build a Real Business program. So if you're curious, go to coachpony.com/Barb for more of this. And with that, we have another idea on how to make $14,000 in a month. But I gotta go to a station break, callers. So let's take a moment and check in with station identification.
We'll be back right after this message.
The Marketing Masterclass, a free training inside the shadowy world of business marketing. If you are wondering how to find paying coaching clients, you won't want to miss out. Join Christie Mims, the founder of Coach Pony, on a mission to help coaches get paid to coach. And you, a brilliant coach who just needs paying clients. Will you succeed? Absolutely. Go to coachpony.com/marketing to grab your free seat today. coachpony.com/marketing.
And we're back. So Bobbi, we have a second idea. So tell us about the second idea and how to make money from your existing community or clients.
It has to do with the VIP days, but what you want to do is when you do book a VIP day, you want to make sure that you ask for a deposit up front. So when you schedule the date and you've got an agreement to actually deliver, part of that agreement should be obtaining a pretty substantial deposit because you're going to be doing a lot of pre-work and you don't want to tie up your schedule for somebody who's going to change their mind or not, or be a no-show. It's better for them, right? Because if you've got money in the game, if you've got skin in the game, you're going to show up.
Yeah, absolutely. And this way you can kind of book out VIP days over the space of a few months and take the deposits up front or take the pay in full up front to reserve the space.
Mm-hmm.
But be able to book it out in a way that's sustainable for you. And I want to yes and this because I actually want to say another way separate from VIP days, but building on this idea is to just invite people in your existing community or existing clients to sign up for a continuation package with you. So maybe they're approaching the end of their coaching. You feel like it's been really good for them. There might be more work to be done. You can actually offer them a chance to get in on a continuation package and take the payment for that upfront to reserve their spot at their current rate. And so it seems like a really good deal. It gets them committed to continuing. If you think that's what they need, don't do it if you don't. But you can offer continuation coaching to folks in your network who you're working with, or recent clients who maybe finished and needed a short break. You can offer to pick it back up and then get that deposit up front, or that pay in full up front to hold their spot just for regular one-on-one coaching. And that's another way you could bring in $10,000, $12,000, $14,000 in just a few weeks if you're actively letting people know about a chance to do this. One thing with this is you give them a start date when you do a continuation package and they're prepaying a little bit upfront or making a deposit. Give them a start date so they know everyone's in expectation about when to begin, and also remind them of how long they have to use the package once it does start. So, and same true for the VIP days. You'll let them know, you'll schedule it in June, you'll schedule it in July, something. So someone's not like, hey, can I do this a year from now, when you might not be offering that anymore. So just be really, really clear on timelines with everyone, even if you're not starting with them right away. Is there anything else you want to add to this, Bobbi?
This is something that I'm sure that we talked about in another episode when we talked about contracts and that kind of thing. With all of this, yes, be really sure to give them an end date. So when you're offering VIP packages, and this is also the way that you're going to earn the money that you need to earn quickly, in that time frame you need it. Make sure that when you offer them, you say, here's the start and end time where you can use this. Like, you must finish this. We must have this day before August 12th, whatever it's going to be. Same thing in contracts with coaching, like you said. This is when you have to use this time of mine. I've had that early on, right? A year later, they call you and they go, okay, I want to use that last session. You're like, oh. And then the problem is, if it's not in your contract, very explicit, you owe them that session.
Always be clear on what you're offering, how long it's going to be, and when people must use anything by. Yeah. So your business doesn't evolve and change and you're still trapped delivering something. What else, Bobbi?
And one other thing that you brought up, which is really important, the idea about, I'm going to offer you this continuation at your current rate, because especially when you're a new coach, your rates are going to be moving somewhat rapidly, right? You're going to be raising your rates as you learn more, as you get more clients, so on. There's a big advantage to being able to say, I'm going to lock you in at this rate, even though you can use these sessions over the next 6 months or 3 months or whatever you're going to let them have of your time. And they're going to get it. They're going to understand you're a valued client and you have a relationship and you're offering, your rate is X now, but you're going to still just charge them Y.
I think we've talked about quite a bit actually in this episode as a way to really get some more money in the door without having to market harder or do a ton more marketing, which is exhausting. So with that, Bobbi, let's do a recap. But before we do, I think we should talk about who sponsors this particular episode of the Coach Pony podcast. So we are sponsored today, of course, by chocolate, as we're always sponsored by chocolate, which is medicinal in our world. And today's chocolate that we are sponsored by is Nutella. I'm just saying, a spoon and a jar, and that's all you need, friends. That's all you need. And then, of course, our other sponsor is Build a Real Business. So if you are new to the Coach Pony world and you are looking for a business coach or a program to help you, you do need one. Come on over to CoachPony.com and check out Build a Real Business and learn step-by-step how to build a business full of happy paying clients. Go to CoachPony.com/BARB. CoachPony.com/Barb.
We'll be right back.
Let's get to the recap. Bobbi, if someone wants to make $14,000 in the next month, what should they do? Step 1.
Offer VIP days.
Yes.
Big surprise. Yeah, it's a great way.
Step 2 is also to consider upfront deposits for both the VIP days or pay in full, or consider offering coaching continuation packages, and then inviting people to secure their spot a little bit early for a continuation package, and they'll pay you upfront to secure that spot.
And lastly, get creative, have fun. This is something that not only will your client love, but you're going to love doing it.
Absolutely. I think you can have so much fun with your creativity in both of these options. So let the world be your oyster. And so, caller, I hope we've more than answered your question. And so I'm checking the phone booth and it looks like we're lighting up again. So should we get to that second caller?
Radio.
Thanks for listening. You're awesome, Coach.